welcome to another episode of the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. This season, we wanted to invite folks to share their stories of the ways in which their lives have been impacted by the early childhood field.
Our model for the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast, this particular project, has always been to have the HCC Early Childhood Practicum students co-create each episode with Liz and I, and then the students serve as guest hosts. And today's Practicum student is Bo McGregor. But we're going to do something different today. And this episode, we're asking Bo to share his story as well. So he gets off the hook of being guest host. He just gets to be a guest. So let's start with introductions. Bo, can you tell us and our viewers a little about yourself?
Yes, my name is Bo McGregor, and I'm originally from Salem, South Dakota, in the Midwest. I lived in Massachusetts for about 4 years, from 2016 to 2020, where I worked at Head Start. And I started my early childhood education degree at HCC. And now I'm back in South Dakota, actually finishing up my degree from HCC in early childhood education online.
Yep. And we're so glad you're here. I can't wait to have more folks hear how wonderful you are. Our other guest today is Charmaine Maximo. Charmaine, I'm so excited you're on Itsy Bitsy. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Charmaine Maximo. I am working at the preschool in Holyoke YMCA. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to do this. And then I got great support from Mariah Levine, who put me in direction of the Holyoke Community College Early Education, and been here ever since.
Yay. Awesome.
Right on. When we were putting this show together, we got to thinking about two things. First, what it means to pursue goals. Being able to set a goal, then see yourself progress towards achieving that goal is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Second, we talked a lot about the power of having someone believe in you and cheer you on as you decide to take a risk or a big leap of faith.
So Charmaine, I happen to know some of your story because HCC is so connected to the YMCA, and I've got to see you in action teaching my own daughter over the years and how much she absolutely loves you. I've seen you work with my former students and my current students, but I want to hear the story from you as a woman going to college, as a mother, as a working parent. You know, tell us the story of the path that you took to now be working in an excellent preschool classroom at the Holyoke Y. Tell us your story.
So my story actually begins in the after school department in the Holyoke YMCA. And then I was just asked, hey, can you help over at the preschool? And I was like, well, those are younger children than my older kids. But they were like, don't worry. I had tremendous support from Cheryl, and she put me in contact with Mariah. And I just came in and just was a support group. And Mariah said, you know what, you are amazing. I think you should really start your career over in this field. So going back to school was very nervous for me. I figured, how was I going to go back and keep up with people who are not, in my same direction? I have 2 children. One of them is autistic. So I have very limited time to do a lot of things. I was put in a direction of Joan
Giovannini. Yeah.
Yes. She was amazing. Great timing for me to be able to go back to school and pursue my lead teacher degree. And I never thought that was going to happen. And I didn't think that was something that I would want, but I love it every day. And to start over and be that support group for my children, and then the children here at the Holyoke YMCA, I really enjoy that transition. It was smooth, it was easy, and it's very comforting.
One of the questions that I have for you, Charmaine, is what has it been like for you to juggle motherhood and going to school and work? How's that been for you? And then to throw the pandemic into the mix. Your story is one for many people. A lot of folks have been trying to figure out how do you hold all of this at the same time?
That's actually a great topic because it's really communication. If you learn that the best thing that's going to get you through starting over is to communicate what you need and what do you want for yourself in the future. not just in the present time, but where can this go in the future? So going back to school was going to not just open up my doors here, but also if I decide to run my own preschool or my own daycare, I have that right support team. HCC has been a tremendous help, tremendous with setting up not just me educationally wise, but future base wise. They're so the YMCA comes highly recommended within this field that I'm in. And I enjoy knowing that I could do that I can help out. And being a mom, because the YMCA is kid-based, they are a great support team for me. If I ever need daycare or after-school care, my son is 11 years old. They're right there. Cheryl Labrie is right there, open arms. How can I help you? We were actually open during the pandemic.
Yes, you were.
So that was a real learning base on how you have to come together, how you have to communicate, and just be mindful, on this in this particular time. So I really enjoyed. If I didn't work during the pandemic, I think it would have been hard to re-enter it.
Absolutely. It was really interesting for me to watch the different folks that I know through the Holyoke YMCA and how everyone navigated it, from my friends in leadership to my former students to my own daughter's teachers who are sending activities home and doing read alouds, and her missing them so much, you in particular. So the way you talk about communication, not only with your peers and your colleagues, but also with your professors when you're trying to take a class, if you need help, that they're a person that you can reach out to and ask, and not being afraid to advocate for yourself. It just helps everybody to achieve their goals, and to have you learning and working in a program that has such a high standard for quality and values children as important humans on our earth. It's great to see you just smile when you talk about it. And I love hearing about your story, and I can't wait to be a part of it as it unfolds. And speaking of stories I've gotten to be a part of, I got to be a part of Bo's story over the last couple of years. He took a class with me before the pandemic, and now again, and we kept in touch during, and now he's finishing his degree remotely from a different state, which is wild. And I'm so proud of us for figuring it out. But Bo is someone who's always been really dynamic as an educator, much like yourself, Charmaine. I wish people could see you with children, because you and Bo are both totally enthusiastic and engaging, but you both bring with you a knowledge of child development that you apply to the relationships that you build with children. And so, Bo, as you're educating young learners and thinking about where you are in your career and in your education, when you look back, what story best illuminates the resiliency that got you through your journey and got you to this point?
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for your kind words. It really means a lot coming from you. I learned a lot from you too, but to answer your question, I went to college my first time around. I'm 31 right now, but when I went to college in South Dakota, where I'm from, I went to college for marketing, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I first started either. I feel like I was a little emotionally immature when I started college too. And I was just like, I guess I'll do this. And so after I graduated college, I kind of went through some mental hardships, depression, anxiety, and everything. I made some unhealthy choices too. So I got really depressed, and I had jobs in marketing and behind computers all the time too. And it was just soul sucking kind of for me too, in a way. So I always say that I didn't find the early childhood education field. I feel like early childhood found me. I found a job listing one day. I'm like, well, that sounds fun. And I really had to thank, my sisters with my nieces and nephews, because every time we'd have like Thanksgiving or Christmas, I would always want to hang out with them, and I play my guitar with them. So they always brought a joy into my life. And my mom was actually my Catholic grade school principal growing up. So I've always been around the school, but it never occurred to me that, hey, I want to be a teacher, But after I took that first job, and I want to thank the director of that daycare in South Dakota for taking a chance on me without any experience or anything, I just loved it so much. And it brought me so much joy. I started out as a floater where I would give other lead teachers breaks. And so I would go into every room pretty much 1 through 5 years old and really saw the spectrum of all the age groups in the early childhood education field. And my journey also brought me to Massachusetts, where I studied abroad in London in college, and my best friend roommate was from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. And after I graduated college and worked at daycares in South Dakota for a few years, I decided to move to Massachusetts, which I'm so thankful I moved there, because that's where I started my educational journey into education too. And it really solidified that I really wanted to be in the educational field. When I moved to Massachusetts, I still had the idea of like, I don't know if I really want to be an educator or not. But everything happens for a reason. Actually, a couple of places I lived, in Amherst and in Springfield, right across the street from me was a Head Start. So it was just a sign basically too. And Head Start was so great to me, and I learned so much. And they inspired me to take classes to be certified as a lead teacher. And then I was like, hey, if I'm taking all these classes, I might as well just get my degree in early child education. And that's what I did. And everything was going great. And then, as we all know, the pandemic happened. And that was really hard on me too, because unfortunately the school was closed and we had to work remotely too. But it's my depression and anxiety came back too, and I made unhealthy choices. And I decided to move back to South Dakota, and I was going to finish my degree with Shelia remotely too, but I just had to take a break and just kind of recalibrate too. And I always say timing is everything too. I actually work at a Head Start preschool here in South Dakota, and I'm finishing my degree here. And timing is everything. I'm so thankful that I kept in communication with Shelia. Like Charmaine saying, I think communication was the biggest thing too. We kept in contact, and I had some obstacles along the way, but the way I look at it, they're not really obstacles. The obstacles were a part of the journey. They always say forks in the road or going around. It's just a part of who I am. And I'm grateful for the good times, but I'm also really grateful for the challenging times too, because they help me grow. And right now I'm in recovery right now, working a 12-step program, and it's working great for me. It's what I always needed. And I'm finishing my degree and working. And I think what's helping me in staying resilient is just taking one day at a time. Taking one day at a time and keeping things a little more simple, and being grateful and making a gratitude list and staying in touch with my family, the simple things. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story. So
Well, thank you for sharing. I just keep thinking about the power of reaching out, and that sometimes we're all given this message that we're a burden or it's too much and we don't want to trouble people. But the truth is that there are people that want to support you and want you to reach out. And especially during the pandemic with the isolation, that message of I'm on my own and I have to figure this out by myself really cemented for some people. So to hear how both of you had these experiences of people staying in touch with you and wanting to be connected with you, and that it took you into this new path, it's just such a beautiful story to hear. Thank you so much for sharing, both of you.
So typically we close with a Mr. Rogers quote, but knowing that today's conversation was going to bring out some really personal stories about resilience and reflection.